All right, just waiting for Dana to give us a buzz. All right. Hey, everybody, just waiting for Dana to give us a buzz. Should be calling any second now. Hope everybody's doing good. Waiting for Dana Gray from Chowchilla Correctional Facility in California. She has issues with her phone. Just tried giving a call, but it got disconnected. So hopefully she'll call back in a second and get that set up for you. So I hope everybody's doing good tonight. I just did a podcast with Shauna Ford, which is pretty wild. I just uploaded that to the Lighter Side of True Crime podcast. Oh, she's sending me a message now. I'm just texting her back real quick. All right, she just tried to call. So she'll call back in a minute. Again, we have Dana Gray. She's been on my podcast a few times. And if you know anything about Dana Gray, the biggest thing for her platform has been talking about not just trying to get rid of life without parole, but transgenders in women's prison facilities, which is a very touchy topic. And for me, a guy, oh, here she comes.
This is Global Tellink. You have a prepaid call from
Dana Gray.
an incarcerated
Like I said,
individual
that's from a
the
guy
Central
talking about
California
transgender. I think
Women's
having somebody from a women's
Chowchilla,
facility talk would be a little
California.
bit,
This
little bit
call
better.
and your
Here she goes.
telephone number will be monitored and recorded. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. To accept this call, say or dial 5 now. Thank you for using Global Tellink.
Hey there.
Hello.
There we go. I had trouble
How are
connecting. I'm very good. So we are live on YouTube. So welcome to the live broadcast. Yeah,
Hello, out there
cool.
in TV land.
How are you? How was your day today?
My day was actually pretty darn good. You
Good.
know, it's just been 3 months and a week since I had that total knee replacement,
Yeah.
and I'm up to 25 minutes on the bike
Oh,
and 35 minutes with the resistance band.
wow.
So a nice hour workout, and I'm getting it, starting to get back into it.
I said you're going to be the bionic woman pretty soon of all the stuff they've redone on you and all the work they've done. But how do you feel though? I mean,
I know.
Are you feel? I know it's probably
And
still a
no
little sore, but
plastic surgery.
do you notice a big difference?
No plastic. Oh yeah, it was really really hard recovery, and I feel 1,000% better. And he said, the surgeon, that in 4 months, I'd really notice a difference, and already I really don't even need pain meds.
Oh wow.
So just like NSAIDs or something, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like I need anything stronger than that.
That's good.
And exercise is the key to pain management, I'm telling you.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So
Mm-hmm.
when they did the surgery, they did it. And it's a 3-hour surgery, let's say. And they saw your knee joint out, level it, put tent pegs, is what it looks like, down your tibia and up your femur, and then connect the joint to it.
Mm.
And they did all that, which is extremely painful, and put me back in my room in less than 12 hours. No hospital time, nothing.
Nothing but
I
the
was
best.
like, wow, I went to the vet.
Back to your nice, comfortable bed.
Right, throw me in the cage.
That's horrible. I mean, the good news is you got the surgery. I mean, that's the most important thing.
It's not him, it's the prison system. They'd rather do what? Sew a penis on, build breasts and vaginas in men.
Yeah, well, that's what
then take care of heterosexuals with real medical needs.
Yeah, I mean, that's a topic tonight. Talking about transgenders, and I see somebody says hello. Kristen says hello.
Yeah.
Kristen says hello to you. So you got people already joining the chat. Kristen, you got a Kristen Rose says hello.
Hi, Kristen. Let me make a disclaimer here and say that I am not against real transgenders.
Mm-hmm.
In no way am I disrespecting you or anything else.
Yeah.
What I'm talking about tonight is strictly prison transgender people, and in specific, men.
Yeah.
In sheep's clothing, coming to this prison to be women. with their penises
Yeah.
and refusing to get,
Yeah.
most of them, the change.
Definitely.
So,
I mean, it's such a touchy subject. Every time I mention online or I'm bringing somebody onto the show, yourself or anybody else, I initially get a little flack because they're thinking that I'm instantly saying anything negative about transgenders as a whole. Where I'm like, no, if you're a legit transgender, no sexual attraction. I mean, I'm
This
against it.
call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
I mean, I don't think they should be there anyway. But okay, if they're going to be there and they're legit, there's no threat to a woman there. That's fine. But we're specifically talking about those who are going there to do harm or to get away from a men's facility and lying about their stuff. And another issue too, you had mentioned to me before, I want to talk about to you, that a lot of women who are at your facility, especially those who are there for of more violent crimes or murder, a lot of the time they're there because they have been abused by a man, and sometimes even killing the men that have been abusive to them. So to spend a year or two,
yes,
5 years, 10 years at your facility getting treatment and counseling and going so good emotionally, almost like that PTSD is almost gone in their life, and then they're said they have to be housed with another man, whether it's a real transgender or not. It's like you talk about that regression, to go back almost to like the day one when they got to the facility. Like all the treatment almost it goes back to reverts to where when they first got in there.
there's no not about it.
Mm.
Realize out there, these are men. Make no mistake. Now, in 2008, I lived with one of the first transgender women being here in the prison. And she, and I'm going to give her a she because she really was a she, was awesome. And it was freaky, but she was no threat. Did the best she could to be a woman and wasn't weird to the other women.
Yeah.
So now comes 2021, and it's the new Kool-Aid everybody's drinking. Let's feed our little girls hormones, and let's let the men get game over the system. And this is a long game for them because they have cases that they're getting beat up over in the men's prison, or they're punks and can't hang and do their rehabilitation and get out.
Yeah.
So they manipulate and get here. And I think that I've seen maybe one or two that have gone through the change, but they're still big. They're man strength. And one of them said, I've got to change now, so now I can hit you and not worry about it.
Oh,
what kind of shit is that?
Wow.
Yes. The one I lived with had a penis, was 6'2", deeply gang related, had committed 9 murders in-house that he admitted to, so double that, and over 40 years, probably triple.
Yeah.
And because he was a cartel soldier, and had been convicted of raping males in men's and was single cell. No surgery whatsoever. His estrogen boobs and a penis.
Yeah.
Worked his way into my room because I was trying to like be safe, find out what they're about, and that was misconstrued as welcoming them.
Yeah, I remember.
And he was deaf. Well, remember that?
Oh yeah, I remember.
And it was, remember that? And it was bad.
Yeah.
And I've never been in a domestic abuse relationship. I was abused as a child, but that's different, And I felt myself slowly feeling shame.
Yeah.
Like ugly, wrong, less than. And it was first mentally, and it was such a slow progression. Then I felt like tense and like I just wanted to go into myself, and I just wasn't me. So then he put hands on me, and it was a wrap. And I couldn't report it on First Watch because it was off staff, and I didn't trust them.
Yeah.
So I waited till morning and reported it to my regular staff, and we took care of it. And I was telling the officer, I go, and it was horrible to admit because, you never want to admit that I got had. I should know better, or I didn't see this coming, or whatever. And it took me a minute to recover out of that. even though I was never beat by my husband,
Mm-hmm.
you know, it still screws with me today
Yeah.
to think about it. And so the good thing that came out of that is when I facilitate a group with women now, I understand a lot better
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
the mindset that they went through with domestic abuse.
Yeah.
And then here's another one. I don't know if you're familiar with Tremaine Carroll. He got sent back to the Mint for not only abusing women, but he raped them and impregnated one twice.
Oh, wow.
Yes. It's in court right now in Madera, if anyone wants to look it up. Tremaine Carroll. And it's, you look at this guy and it's like, wow, he's big. I saw him in the law library. He's probably 6 foot and like 280
Wow.
and 6'1" maybe. And he's letting women push him around in a wheelchair, full you can walk. And he knew who I was. And he just stared me down and got up out of his wheelchair, stood up and looked down at me like, and I looked back up at him like, we're in the library. Do something, please. Let me get you kicked back to the Mint.
Yeah.
But it, that's, I tried to give that impression, but inside, I'm not feeling that.
Oh, of course.
I'm feeling intimidated
yeah, of course,
by this man. And then later after that's when he had raped and impregnated some girls.
And it's amazing because when you hear...
And the worst part...
go ahead.
We heard that the baby that was born has to be tested for AIDS every couple, 3 weeks.
That's horrible. So sad. In many ways.
That awful?
In many ways, it's sad. But you hear about the press, saying, especially in your facility, where they had a third-party group come in and did their assessment and came out with this glowing report. And it blew me away when you told me. Yeah, and it blew me away because you told me, and a few other people at your facility that I know, that not one person that they know was ever interviewed or questioned about any of this. It came out this glowing report like, oh, it's a wonderful program, Transgenders, it's going wonderful. But not one person in your facility that you know of, and you know a lot there, and some of my other friends know a lot of people there, no one was interviewed. Not one resident there was asked.
I know who they were. I'll tell you who they were. Remember in the report they mentioned 4 inmates. Well, those inmates were the Inmate Advisory Council, who are manipulators.
Yeah. And
only one of them is left. And they did that so they could get game and get what they want. And it was like a Zoom meeting.
Is that what it was? Oh, jeez.
And they didn't tell us. They didn't warn us.
And
it's just incredible. It's just a trip.
We have a question.
Now, every morning. The Moss report. Remember we read that on the podcast? You might want to tell your viewers. That we really broke it down. So, so they have this one on that was on the next ride over, who was beating his roommates and threatened them. Had been kicked off the show for having sex with his penis, and so now he's back.
Oh, really?
And I saw him. I saw him the other day, and I saw him tonight in Chow Hall. Baseball hat, shoes, no makeup, just a man in prison clothing. And it's just trippy to me.
And we have
this call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
There's Kenny asked a question. Kenny says, does she think Trump in office will things change with Trump in there? Now, Trump did an executive order banning transgenders from federal prisons. That wasn't, not your type of facility. But do you think that's going to have some type of trickle down effect? Do you think that might actually affect all prisons throughout the country?
Yes. But Kenny, let's not screw up pronouns. This is a man with a penis. This is not a she. This is a he.
Yeah.
I will not pronoun them if they refuse to biologically change. You can't tell me, oh, I identify as a woman today, and then identify as something else next week.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that I'm living living it, and I'm seeing what I'm seeing. I don't even know how it is out there. I can't imagine, but I'm not going to turn on them.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, it hopefully will have a trickle down effect to state prisons, but it is up to the states, just like Roe versus Wade. That's a state issue, so
Yeah.
it is.
Well, it's good.
So I don't know.
And another thing that blew me away, I'm going to hold up now, something you sent me. Now, sex is prohibited, at a women's prison facility. But yet, I'm going to hold up what you sent me in the mail months ago. You have sent me this. I'm holding up a condom. Now, tell me.
Oh, yes.
There's condoms. You sent 2 packets of DAMs, female contraception, and a condom. Now, how did you know?
And
You have 60 seconds remaining.
they're colored condoms, remember?
Yeah, I'm holding them up.
It says it on the pack.
Yeah.
But now they I guess those were too expensive, so now they just give out regular ones.
Oh, geez.
And they were putting out dental dams, which are for women.
Yeah,
Now,
I'm holding them up too.
I've been here since 1998. They started this last year on Valentine's Day. How do you think that made us feel?
I can't
to
even
go
imagine.
into the unit bathroom and see a dispenser specifically built for condoms
Wow.
that says sex is okay.
That's mind blowing.
I don't care what people do, but when it's with men here,
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, men that are inmates
Mm-hmm.
that we're locked in a room with.
That's amazing.
That's too much.
Oh,
And I will call you back.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, it's
All right, so time came out, so she'll call back right away. But she sent me a package. Literally, it was the 2 female dams, which are these. Okay, it's one thing. All right. I mean, is that the end of the world? Females having sex together at a prison facility? Not the end of the world, Hey, better be safe than sorry. But they handed out condoms at a women's prison facility. Now, again, I'm not that familiar with the names and pronouns and all that stuff, but a transgender man, I don't think they should be sexually attracted to a woman. I think that's the main part of it. And if that's the case, okay, you want to let them in there? I'm still against it, but it's one thing. But clearly, if they are sexually attracted to a woman, is that really a transgender? Is that how that works? And then they hand out condoms?
This is Global Tel Link. You have a prepaid call from
Dana Gray,
an incarcerated individual at the Central California Women's Facility,
We get 15-minute phone calls,
Chowchilla,
just so you know.
California. This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. To accept this call, say or dial 5 now.
All right.
Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
Okay, Kristen and Kenny, was it right? I want to thank you for your comments, but make no mistake, women are in danger in every state and every prison where these men are.
Mm-hmm.
We've never had an influx like this. It's only because of senators that Scott Wiener here in California is gay and promotes all kind of crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just the Kool-Aid that everybody's drinking right now. It's a phase. And hopefully it will pass, but right now it's got big funding and big support groups. And no empirical evidence that this is even real.
Yeah.
There's none. There's no psychiatric diagnosis of gender dysphoria that has this many teenage girls all of a sudden having gender dysphoria. It's what they're going through is teenage body shaming. And wouldn't you want them to be the test of time to find out who they are, how they feel, before they make that big decision?
Well, now when a child's born, parents aren't even.
They're what?
I was going to say, parents aren't even assigning a gender to their children now. Or they kind of force them, whether you're a boy or a girl, they're going to be like gender neutral. They kind of force them one direction. So they're almost getting brainwashed as a child before the even brain develops. They're telling them you're going to be this, you're going to be that, or not specifically saying or treating them like a man or treating them like a girl, as they're growing up. And it's just, pure confusion. And another thing that's really what I see, it's also just as dangerous, not the mental aspect. But by the men coming into those prison facilities, there's from not just your place, other places, there's increase in drugs, there's increase in weapons, and it's all
Oh
around.
yes, the
It's
weapon sophistication is crazy. Now let me tell you, y'all out there know about fentanyl. Well, there's another one, I don't know the name, that is 10 times stronger. Now there's one that's nitrazine, something or other, that's 50 times stronger than fentanyl. So when I saw the show on it, they were saying, well, like a single dose of those unit dose Narcans don't work. You have to give it more. Well, Narcan works by sitting on the opiate receptor site. Well, as soon as it wears off in 4-something hours, you're high again. So if it's stronger, you take the chance of them re-ODing themselves.
wow.
And yes, what they've been doing is the investigative units were telling me that it's like playing whack-a-mole with the drug influx because now they've caught a drone.
Now, how many?
So the drones dip in under the radar and drop the dope off wherever.
Oh,
Isn't that crazy?
That's like
we're surrounded by orchids.
Oh wow, that's
yeah. If you look at Google us, we're in the middle of Central Valley. We have almond orchards all around us.
wow.
And then
so they're literally
we're in the
flying
middle of
drones.
nowhere.
So that, like it's like an Amazon package. That drones are flying over your prison facility and dropping down the drugs.
Yes.
Oh,
now,
wow.
it's not all the time, but where they had a big old scene about it on another yard, it's just crazy. And I don't even like to go out at night to walk the yard because of what I see all around me, spice, which is some kind of synthetic pot that people whack out on and see demons. One girl pulled her eyeballs out. Literally, she's blind now. And it's just so sad. It's just crazy.
That's a shame.
And
sticking with
it is a shame.
The topic too of with the transgenders there, you mentioned a couple of horrible things. We had a couple of rapes that happened. Abuse, physical abuse. I mean, how often is this? I mean, a ballpark, how many negative incidents do you think has happened, since they're allowing transgenders? Again, we're not talking about legit transgender. We're talking about men pretending to be a transgender to come to there to abuse women. So there's been numerous incidences, I'm assuming.
Yes. And I don't know the exact percent, but I believe it's over 50% are sexually related cases.
Wow.
So they're already predators. They already have some kind of predator thing in their jacket. If they weren't arrested for it, like the one guy told you in my room, was busted for raping men.
Wow. It's amazing.
So, what was the question you asked me?
And you answered the question, and also you told me before, and we can expand a little bit on that. So where if there's an incident, lights in the room. Now a lot of people don't realize in the room there might. Go ahead.
That's what the question was. How often does it take place? Well, they have a prison rape reporting act, and it's supposed to be confidential and safe, so that you can report things like sex solicitation from staff, from inmates, whatever. But the problem with it is you're automatically labeled. You and the person you report, unless it's staff, they just get investigated before anything happens to them. But if it's inmate on inmate, you both go to jail. Now, there's been some modifications to it now, but still, you get uprooted. So if I reported a rape, I would get rolled up, lose half my property in the roll-up because, prison people steal, they throw your shit in the trash, whatever.
Wow.
And lose my bed in an honor dorm. I just graduated from the BA program, so I would have lost all that school time. Totally disrupt my life to report something that wasn't safe. And I was in danger with a man that's locked in my room, and it's I can't do anything about it. So now people don't report the incidents, just like out there when women don't want to report rape because of the stigma. People don't report here. And Priya has been misused by some inmates trying to get somebody moved out of their room or whatever. But it's sad. I mean, people just don't want to report. Yeah. And then when you have the guy that just came on our yard threatening his roommates that he will beat them if they tell, and they go ask for a bed move and staff refuses them because they have to cater to these guys because they're forced to pronoun them, and they are protected. It's as if they really had a disability, and they're protected by ADA. What is that? Mm-hmm. You are not disabled. You have a gender dysphoria, so they say. Yeah. But you are not disabled. You're beating your roommates. You're strutting the yard with your stuff. And you are not disabled.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
So
didn't you say one time too, like
scary.
Aside from that, or very similar to that, where if you're living together in a dorm or whatever it may be, if there's an incident there, even like a minor altercation, and it's you and a transgender, and it's the transgender's fault, you're the one that has to leave the pod, or you have to leave that dorm. Like they're always going to get the preferential treatment no matter what. Like they even get like they can wear the special clothing, better medical treatment, comfortable clothes. It seems like they have more rights than a natural woman there. Would that be correct?
Yes, it is. And it's not even a dispute oriented. In the law, California Senate Bill 132 states that if they feel uncomfortable with you, so to say, they can get you kicked out of the room. They can ask for you to be moved. They can come up in your room and take over and move you out. It's been done. In my unit, there was one that came in, moved everybody out, and had an 8-person cell to themselves.
Wow.
Just because they could. Now, when they left and went back to the men's because they didn't like it here, with all her new jazz, because that person did get the reassignment surgery, it just, the girls got to move back. Yeah. But still, just to go through that,
of course,
that's just too much. That's giving the wolf power over the chickens in the coop.
Yeah.
What is that? Yeah. You know?
And what's the actual requirement for someone to say, I am a transgender, I want to go to a women's prison facility? I mean, is that just it? Like any guy can say that, but
this call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
That's it. Self-identify.
Really?
And I don't know on the men's side, like how long they make them wait, how much time they have to go through, psych referral and observation and all that stuff. But they do take the hormones to prove themselves, I guess, over there. Mm-hmm. But when they get here, you don't have to take the hormones. You don't have to do anything.
Gotcha.
Anything.
That's amazing.
And conversely, where before they came, girls, people that want to come here don't have enough money, cut their hair short, be a dude for however long they're here, so to say, hook up with somebody so they can survive.
Yeah.
We call them commissary berries, whatever. All they used to do is have to sag their pants and cut their hair and act tough. Now, that's not enough to prove themselves. Now they're getting their breasts cut off. They're taking hormones and growing beards. And these are younger, a lot of them are younger girls. They get everything done but bottom surgery. There's only been 2 bottom surgeries that I know of. Mm-hmm. And it's just so sad to me. And then they're going to parole and what? They won't have this environment. So are they going to end up, the suicide rate's high. What are they going to do when they figure it out and want to detransition? Mm-hmm. It's terrible. And they're already sterile or have had some kind of fallout from taking the wrong hormones.
Oh, wow.
For their gender. Yeah, it's and they'll do that with a quickness here. one trans man here. Um, he now has always looked like a dude, acted like a dude, been down long time,
Mm-hmm.
35, 40 years. Got bottom surgery, happy as can be, and top surgery. But the thing that pissed me off was you got a facelift, you got injections. You are my age, I'm 67,
Mm-hmm.
you're 65. Why can't I get a facelift? Why can't I get my eyes done? Why can't I get my neck done? Why can't I get a tummy tuck? You know? It's gender affirming surgery. Why can't I affirm I'm a woman?
What about
The
basic
discrimination is
for
bad.
for basic needs? Like, is it easier for a transgender to get, their not transgender, but a woman there to get their boobs removed or any type of surgery like that? Is it easier for them to do it, or for you to get basic medical
With
care that you really
equipment.
need?
Let me put it this way. You can get a mastectomy really quick. It only costs prison like $30,000-$40,000. But a facelift is $90,000, and it's been 2 or 3. Can you imagine? You're spending all
Wow.
that money for that.
Wow.
I had to fight in federal court from 2012 to 2011 to 2018 to get my first back surgery. Then I had loose and broken hardware, and I had to take it back to federal court by myself. There's no lawyer involved. I did this myself.
Oh, I remember.
And fight another 5 years till 2022 to get my back redone, which cost me this time 3 surgeries at the same time, 9 hours of surgery. They had to go into my belly. They had to take a rib and go in through my side, and then they finished me up on the back by, and remember how hard that was for me?
I remember, yeah.
So I had to fight. Yeah, I had to do that. Now, if I was transgender asking,
You have 60 seconds remaining.
they would have said, "Oh, okay, here, yeah, we'll get you right on there."
Wow. That's amazing.
They wait 6 months or less. 6 months or less.
That's wild.
So it is wild.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's one thing, equal rights is one thing, but it seems like they have way more rights, than you do there, which obviously isn't fair.
Yeah.
But one thing I want to hear about, if you have time for a call, I want to hear what happens when someone does get pregnant there, and what are the ramifications of something like that?
You want me to call back?
Yeah, if you have time.
You want me to call back?
Yeah, call back again.
Yeah, I will. Okay, let me do it right now before it ends.
Okay, cool. As we've been talking to Dana Gray, she's at a labeled as serial killer. She's been in prison for decades, basically. I've known her for many years, and it just blew me away when she starts talking about. Now, some of the transgender people she was talking about, I knew too. I would write them too, like all 3 of us, because they were friends for a while until some crazy stuff went down. And I can't even mention a name because there's gangs involved in there. So you can't talk about the names publicly. You can understand why. But when she sent me these, literally sent me condoms from her prison facility, it blew me away. And just the rights that they have there. Now, we're not talking about legit transgenders, but those who are taking advantage of the system. They don't want to be at a men's facility. Hey, I'm a woman, and they have to let them in. I'm curious to find out about the lead time, how long it takes to wait. But she says there's no qualifications. You just say, I'm a man. I mean, I'm identified as a woman. They got to let you in. And I'm curious. I just asked her a question that, what happens if a woman does get pregnant there?
This is Global Tel Link. You have a prepaid call from
Dana Gray,
an incarcerated individual at the Central California Women's Facility, Chowchilla,
And we only get
California.
15-minute phone calls.
This
She has to
call
hang up and
and
call
your
back again.
telephone number will be monitored and recorded. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. To accept this call, say or dial 5 now. Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
All right.
So what they do for pregnancy is they usually ship them down south to CIW, which is hours away, Corona on the other side of LA. And that's where most pregnant girls go that are incarcerated. I don't know if they chose to have an abortion here, if they would just do it and let them stay here. I know a girl that got pregnant by a cop, had an abortion, and she got to stay,
Wow.
but she went to jail. about it. She had to do some add seg time for it. But so I don't know about that. I don't.
Now, is that a crime, so
I
to
don't
speak?
know what happens down
what
there.
happens? What happens with the transgender?
We're,
Those who claiming the one that got the girl
it is
pregnant?
a crime. It's a crime, and it's a crime because it's considered a rape.
Mm-hmm.
We're a special population. We don't have a choice, and especially with staff, it's automatically that way.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's a crime. If a woman reports it, even if she does it and has to have pregnancy care, it's still a crime because in our Title 15, sex is not allowed.
Mm-hmm. Now, is the
Even
man?
though people do it,
Sure.
still,
Oh yeah.
that kind of sex where people get pregnant, I mean, you just can't hide it.
Now, what?
know?
How do they justify? I'm holding up again the condom that you sent me from your prison facility in Chowchilla. How do they justify saying it's a crime to have sex and then hand out condoms at the same time?
STDs.
But it's still a crime if it's
Sexually
illegal to
transmitted
do.
disease.
I mean,
Still a crime. Right.
Mm.
I don't know.
Now,
I
what?
really don't know.
Now,
It's a trick.
When the man impregnates one of the people there, the quote unquote transgender, what's the penalty for that? Is he kicked out, going back to the men's facility, or he's still allowed to stay at your facility?
Well, he did stay for a while. Now, the first time he got her pregnant, he beat her in the stomach and she aborted.
Oh, jeez.
And they buried the fetus. Yeah. He beat her in the stomach. She aborted, had a miscarriage, and they buried the fetus on the yard.
Wow.
And then they were told on, so they dug it up and moved it to somewhere else. So that happened, and he still was allowed to stay 4 months.
Oh my God.
And then she got pregnant again. Yeah. And a girl was raped. He raped a girl in the shower. It's I can't even believe they let him stay. But again, they're protected.
Mm-hmm. It's amazing because the public. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The public knows nothing.
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Nothing.
No idea. Mm-hmm.
None. And they don't publicize this on TV because it's not popular. Politically, it's not popular.
Mm-hmm.
I have two best friends I've known since I was 16. So that makes 51 years. And one got on my tab recently and said, "They have men there?" And he and I hadn't written for a really long time before this. And I said, "Yeah, they have men here."
That's
so
amazing.
Hopefully, I hate to say it, but hopefully one will show up on the day he comes to visit me. And then I can say, "There's a dude."
Yeah.
And there won't be any mistake.
Mm-hmm.
And I just can only hope that people are aware.
Well, at least there seems to be a movement. I mean, I think that's one of the reasons Trump won the presidency, because I think the nation as a whole is tired of it. Men playing in women's sports. Like the girl almost died in a boxing match. I think it was an Olympic boxing match or something. The guy almost killed her in a fight. Some of it's ridiculous. I mean,
okay, let's look at Riley Gaines.
Yeah.
She lost her award to a guy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah. I'm saying they're
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
they're forcing it in education.
I don't care what you identify as.
Mm-hmm.
If you are, even if you're not biologically a man, you're still going to be biologically a man by DNA.
Mm-hmm.
So you shouldn't compete. If you want to compete, do a training competition.
Yeah, definitely.
Against each other.
Definitely. As I said,
no, you just can't.
Identify whatever you want. But stay out of the sports, women's sports, stay out of the women's prisons. It's a shame because it's causing so much harm mentally, obviously physically. I mean, you talked about forced abortions on the yard, and the drug increase, the weapons. They're now being involved in there, and I think California as a whole, people are opening their eyes. A lot of people are leaving the state, I mean, half of California's left and moved to Texas. It was getting so bad. But I think the culture
Well,
now.
Texas isn't even better.
Well, no, it's
Those federal prisons put men, dangerous men, that identify as women in a prison. And remember that Senate confirmation? What was that woman's name? That Ted Cruz ripped her up and so did Grassley, because she okayed a predator identifying as a woman, threatening to rape women and staff, female staff, into a women's prison. What is history? So Texas really isn't any better.
Oh, no, not at all. I just meant that's a lot of people have left there and went to Texas for sure.
On the federal level.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm not really a big Trump fan, but I am happy about this.
Yeah, I think most people are. I mean, that's why they voted for him. I mean, that's why he won in a landslide, because if another 4 years of these liberal policies that are so far left, so ridiculous, it's just like we had to put a stop to it. So luckily, I think he's doing it and has already started doing it. Because again, it's ridiculous. Now, I don't know how much power he does have, but I know they said he did halt instantly, all transgenders from federal prisons, and hopefully he makes the move, some type of trickle down effect. I don't know how much power he has to do it, or it's again the power of the states. But California's still very liberal. I mean, I don't see much changing there. But something like this is what helps. Getting public knowledge out there, because there's still a lot of support. Like I mentioned, transgenders in women's prison facilities. It's almost like, well, you better speak about the positive too. Like instantly they're ready for a fight, because again, they're blind. I had somebody block me. It was a follower of the podcast for a year or two. And we did the podcast a while ago talking about transgenders too on the audio podcast. And she's like, oh, are you talking about positive stuff? Oh, wait, no, this is bringing awareness to the stuff that doesn't get publicized is the negative. We're not, she's like, oh, we got to talk about positive things. I'm like, yeah, well, there's a time for that. But right now we're bringing awareness to the rapes, the abortions, the drugs. And she's like, oh, that's horrible. You need to, they're I forget the word she used, but basically giving me a hard time because I'm not talking only about the positive things. I'm like, well, what's more important?
Well, let's reframe that. Let's reframe that right now. This is a positive thing.
Oh, 100%.
It's showing, it's positive because it's showing the public what women are going through and how this is intimidating and inhibiting our rehabilitation.
Yeah. But the
How
people's
would you
mind.
like to sit in a recovery group and talk about your childhood trauma where you were raped, molested, sex trafficked with a big ass man looking right at you like you were a cupcake?
Yeah.
How would you feel? How would you feel?
Some of them are blind. Like I said, like this person who is no longer following me, I had asked her, don't you think it's important to get more important than anything, say, hey, we should support transgenders. I was like, is it more important to talk about, get the public knowledge? What about if they were raped, and all these horrible things have been happening? It's like, oh, that's not important. We need to talk about positive things. Like just blind, like forget anything I just said. All these horror stories, they're so blind to it that they don't know. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it, or they think it's not true.
Well, I'm sure they probably haven't been down very long. That sounds like somebody who hasn't been down and doesn't know the system and doesn't know how things have changed and the real positive changes. I've been down before the R went into CDCR. We didn't have rehabilitation. Nobody was going home. Now it has changed, and there is a lot of that. So go read San Quentin News, which is all about rehabilitation and all the positive stuff. Or you could read the Vanguard Incarcerated Press and read more intellectual stuff that shows more things that are real. Like I just got published on the front page, Volume 7, Issue 6,
oh, nice.
about aging out. This is front page, my first time submitting,
That's great.
And I will be soliciting that paper because I'm not a puff writer. I'm a real writer.
Yeah.
And I hope somebody that's listening does look that up.
Oh, for sure.
That is a very intellectual piece.
Now, have there been, what is there, if any, if they're even allowed, when a woman is regression, when she's forced to live with a man or being abused there by a transgender, is there special counseling for her? Is that something you girls have to do together to help encourage them and to help, get her the psychological help that she needs after now being forced to live with a man or being abused by a man at your women's prison facility? Is there a help for somebody like that? Or just like you kind of got to grin and bear it because there is no help except for a camaraderie against, the ladies that are there?
Well, there's always camaraderie. There's no recovery group for that. But you can put a copay in and go see psych. I don't know how often they'll see you. The caseloads are big. There's not much staff. But and I don't know genuinely how well they treat you.
Yeah.
I reported what I went through. They were horrified, and I wasn't even raped.
Yeah.
And so they see me every 3 months or so.
Okay.
That's how often. You know, unless I was in crisis and splitting my wrist, they're not going to see you any more often than that.
Sure. Yeah.
So I do these shows with you, which is recovery in a way, educating the public. And I had to do a lot of self-work and have some close friends, you know.
Yeah.
I had to work on my own rehabilitation, but in group, a lot of times I couldn't even speak about it because there's trans supporters in here. These young girls, they don't know any better. They think it's just like this is normal to them because of the normalization of it out there.
Yeah, that's true. Very true.
They don't even think. They don't even know. They're confused.
Yeah. And I think one of the saddest things that you said is if you are raped in there by a man and you report it, you're getting rolled up too. Like you have to go to way too. And then I mean that's how it's not encouraging to to report. It's almost like they're forcing you not just to take it. You know, take to getting raped because you can't report it because you're going to be just as much trouble as the person who raped you.
And it's not even about your property or your comfort. It's also the stigma. And we get told the same thing the public does. You wanted it. What did you do to make him want to, you know?
Yeah.
We get the same thing. We get the same thing if it's staff, if it's an inmate, whatever. What did you do? Well, what if you didn't do anything?
Yeah.
You know? So
now, what are some on top of your head, like organizations or websites that people can actually go to that are really supporting the movement of like, hey, we got to bring awareness to this. Like, this is not a good thing.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Well, there's womantowoman.org out here in California. I have a girl that used to be at LWOP here, my friend Amy.
I was going to say Amy,
and another gal. Yeah, Amy wasn't at LWOP here though. My other friend, Mary was, and she is the Northern California part of that. And that organization's very politically savvy. They've run some of my 16-page. I remember I told you about that 16-page paper I wrote, Crisis in Women's Corrections, SB 132, and NATO Women. Well, they've run that and helped me distribute that. I did a policy brief in a college class, gave it to them to.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
And they always help promote to legislators and stuff. So them, and then from there you could probably find some other sites.
Good.
But I would definitely visit that site if you can out there and find out what's going on here in California.
Definitely. Well, listen, we thank you so much. Go ahead, keep going. I'm sorry.
And thank you to any and all people that tuned in. I appreciate your just listening.
Definitely. And this will be recorded.
We're the marginalized. Women are the marginalized population, period, in all ways. So I just appreciate my voice.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming on with this. And this will be recorded, so this will be up on YouTube, so everybody can come back and listen to it whenever they want, which is good. But no, thanks for taking the time. You know, hearing from you, it's very important. Like I said, to get out there. As hard as it is for you to talk about, and you're living it. I mean, that's one thing to talk about, but you got to go back and you're hanging up the phone and going back and living with it, which is, okay, that's it. She hung up, or they cut us off. But no, a big thanks to Dana Gray for giving us a call. And I said, I mean, we can't really wrap our minds around how mentally hard this is for a woman who's been abused by a man for many years. And a lot of times they're in prison for killing the man that's abusing them. And for years and years, they're going, they're getting stronger, mentally stronger. They're getting rehabilitated. And a lot of places like where she sleeps, it might be like a dorm with, a few people there, like 8 or 9 people. but sometimes you're in a room with just with two people, and picture yourself, you're that woman who all these years of doing a lot better and overcoming a lot of that PTSD from getting raped and abused by men. And now knock, knock on the door, knock, knock, knock. Hi, I'm Fred. Now you're forced to live with a guy. Again, it's bad enough, or even a real transgender. Like if you really identify as a woman, you're not sexually attracted to a woman. That's one thing, but still the mental trauma of living with a guy, that's bad enough. That's why I'm against transgenders in women's prisons. But the main focus of today wasn't talking about them. It was talking about men who are pretending they're being transgender just to go to women's prison facilities to abuse them. And we heard of a couple accounts of rapes, forced abortions on the yard. A guy punching a woman's stomach. They forced her to have an abortion, trying to bury it in the yard. And they don't have a voice. The women don't have a voice there. And he said, even if you get raped and if you report it, well, you're in trouble too. Not just getting labeled as somebody who's been raped, but you're getting rolled up. You're getting shipped out sometimes, or you're going to solitary. And so they don't have a voice. And again, it's a crime to have sex. And women to women, it's a crime to have sex, but they're handing out female contraception, the dams they have, and they're like little fruit roll-ups, if you don't know what they are. I didn't know what the hell they were either until she sent them to me. These are from Chowchilla. Dana Gray sent me this, and she also sent me the condom. Put it up here. Lifestyles. You said, again, it's a crime to have sex in prison. But transgenders, no, there's no sex going on between men and women there. They're handing out condoms at Chowchilla Women's Correctional Facility. And they said, the budget, they cut back on the budget, so they're no longer handing out the good color condoms. They're handing out the generic ones. They're still handing out condoms. Dudes are having sex with chicks at Chowchilla Prison Facility, and no one's talking about it. The amount of drugs that are coming in there. That blew me away, where she said the drones are bringing in the drugs now. Which is one that's necessarily a man thing, but just the fact that drones are flying over and dropping drugs is just mind-blowing. But obviously violent crime in the women's prison facilities has increased because it's men doing it. The weapons that men are bringing in into the women's prison facility, that has increased. The violent crime has increased. There's nothing good about it. I'm sorry, there's nothing good about it. And there's a couple groups talking about, well, we need to support transgenders in men's prison facilities. What about them? Well, they should have thought about before they did the crime. Of course, if you're a transgender, don't you think if you go to a men's prison facility, you're going to be targeted? Okay, you did the crime. Sorry, but I don't feel bad that you're in a men's prison facility and you're a transgender and you might be targeted. Hey, you rape a little boy, you rape a child, you're going to be targeted. You rape a woman, you're going to be targeted. You're a serial killer, you're going to be targeted. Well, if you're transgender, you're going to be targeted. So don't do the crime. The easy way out is just either the easy way out to get out of men's prison facility because it's easier time, or most of the men are predators, who are going over there. Why? So they can be predators on the women there. It's just mind-blowing. But a big thanks to Dana Gray for joining us. This will be recorded and uploaded, so you can go back if you're tuning in late and check it out. So big thanks to her. But again, mind-blowing things. Again, her handing out condoms at her prison facility. This is the exact condom that she handed out to me. This is, I think, about a year or so ago. We did a podcast. And if you go to the audio podcast, the Lighter Side of True Crime on Spotify, where you listen to podcasts on. We did 2 podcasts with Dana, and one about her life and when she got arrested and her crimes, her artwork. I was going to have it downstairs. I actually got a lot of artwork people send me in this room here. She sent me numerous pieces. Actually, a very good artist there. But it's a shame because her prison facility is very good at rehabilitation. Many options, and she's more of the honor kind of the portion of the prison. A little more privileges and art. She can teach artwork and things like that. A lot of great programs. So it's really mind-blowing to where they're allowing this to happen. They know what's going on inside of prison. I said they had a third-party group come in. They said the only people they interviewed were the very select people who basically told them what they wanted to hear. There's no problem here with transgenders. Oh, there's no rape here. There's no abuse here. But they didn't really interview everybody, which is a shame. So when the Publix reads an article saying, hey, this third party came in, we're doing this new transgender deal, and it's going great. Look, third party people came in. No, they were handed people, I think she said through a Zoom chat to talk to about how the prison facility was going, handing the transgenders there. And of course, they just told them everything they wanted to hear. But if they actually came to the prison and interviewed the women there, it would have been a whole different story. But they're in a tight spot. If you say something negative, you're going to get punished. You report a rape, you're going to get punished. If there's an issue, even not like a violent issue, if there's an issue with another transgender there, it might be just a small little dispute. Well, guess what? You're the one leaving. She gets to stay in the pod, and then you got to leave just because you reported her, because transgenders has more rights. Equal rights is fine, okay. But no, they have more rights. They get to wear special clothing that's more comfortable. The biological women can't. They're getting spending $60,000, $20,000 for plastic surgery of some sort, getting the boobs removed, surgeries and facelifts and all that. The transgenders, they can do it. But if you need a surgery like back surgery or elbow surgery or something like that, like Dana did, well, guess what? You can't get it, or you got to wait years and years and years. But if you're transgender, surgery right away, because they're so afraid of the public outcry, especially in California. It's a very liberal state. So it's just a mess. Again, I'm against transgenders, 100% women's prison facilities, just for the mental trauma alone that it causes. But okay, again, a legit transgender, I can't say this enough. This is not specifically about a legit transgender. We're talking about men predators here and the dangers, because that's not getting talked about in the news and the press. So again, a big thanks to Dana Gray. Thanks everybody for joining in. And if you're listening on the replay, thanks even more. Follow the podcast, give a like, a subscribe, a share. Follow the audio podcast, The Lighter Side of True Crime, anywhere podcasts are hosted. I like Spotify myself. All right, until next time, you guys have a good night. See ya.